what do you really want, what the hell you should know, what the people, what do you really want.
Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. Tonight, we're talking about the wonderful, loving family. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know E is so excited. He can't wait to talk about it. Yes. E, this is your season. You love the holiday and family time and all of that good stuff. So is there anything that you're especially happy about when it comes to family during this season?
Why are we talking about this season? We just should talk about family in general. Having been around your family, being around people that you love. I mean, point blank. And some people don't get that love for, don't have that family. So to have a family, the family structure and the family fun, that should just go on all year long, period. Not just during the holiday season.
That's true.
I mean, the biggest part about family is, family is not just blood. Let's just start right there. I have a lot of people that are not blood that are real family.
Real family. That's real talk.
I agree with that.
That's real talk.
Yeah, family. Growing up, you get adopted to other families. You know, as you get older, you adopt brothers, sisters,
absolutely.
Things of that sort of nature, and cousins. Yeah. I mean, the structure of it is tremendous.
Yeah.
Right. So I say this season because a lot of times something happens around this season. First of all, holiday, fall season, people feel a certain way. You know, we got our beautiful sweaters and time to pull out our boots and all that fun stuff with fashion, but then with Halloween and trick-or-treating and stuff like that. So I say a season because it seems like Halloween just kind of jumps things off. And so for me, October, I'll say October. October is fun, exciting, and it's family because I have a mom who had a birthday on October 1st, rest her soul. My sister, October 18th, and my father and his twin, October 31st. So the whole month we're celebrating and enjoying family. And then we kick off right into November, which is Thanksgiving, and it just continues on from there. So I say the season because I kind of get geared up and pumped now, as well as a lot of other people.
Right.
So some people are actually planning their Thanksgiving dinner. So that's why I say season. But I agree with you when you talk about love and family all year round, all of that great stuff. And it would be amazing if everybody else felt the same way. But that's not the case. And we're going to dig a little deeper into some of those things tonight. So meanwhile, you said it's not about blood, but Clarence, and I heard you say it's about unity.
Yes, it's about unity.
Yes. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, you know, and I want to say, and Eric is right, here's the problem, and where you hit on it, Doug V, here's a problem where I think we miss out a lot as we have to find reasons to get together as family. I mean, it shouldn't take a reason. I mean, the bond, the connection, that should be the main reason we get together. But families are so frayed, and there's so much dissension and different things within family that, you know, even when we get together on Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're not all there. Think about it. How many uncles and aunts that didn't come to your grandmother's house because, you know, this, that, or the other, or, you know, cousins that's not coming, you know, it's so many different situations.
You saying they wait on the family reunion. They don't come to the Thanksgiving
or there's
dinner.
some family dissension, or there's no family connection anymore.
Okay, so I wanted to be clear if you were talking about the physical body not there, because sometimes people get together, they're in the same house at the same function, and they didn't even know so-and-so was there because they in a certain area.
No,
they in the backyard, they in the basement.
I'm talking about the ones that the disconnect in a lot of families, you know. And here's where we are. My family is a very close family, and you know, I like to brag on the closeness of my family because we don't need holidays. Right. My aunt can be cooking on a Wednesday, and she cook a whole lot, and she calling everybody up. I cooked on this day, come over, and we all sit there and we tell stories, we connect, we reconnect, we you know, because we've lost some people in the last couple of years.
Right.
So we sit and, we tell stories and remember. So the unity is when you get together and that love and that memory and that all of that together.
Right.
And a lot of families, they don't have that anymore, and they're not striving to keep it. Families are falling apart, and that gives us where we are a lot of times in the world.
Right, and so E had mentioned structure too,
Well, I'm gonna
and
tell
I
you-
want to talk about that a little bit, E.
And I'm with you on that, Clarence, because I'm gonna say 3 years ago, my grandmother died on my dad's side, and I only met the lady twice. But I get the phone call, I need to get to Iowa. So me and my cousin, we shoot to Iowa. I didn't meet. I've been known I had these sisters
Right.
and other siblings, but just imagine 15 people in a 2-bedroom house.
That's my growing up in Alabama.
Yeah, I mean that was ours too in Alabama.
Yeah.
But on my dad's side, and we sat in this apartment for 3 days,
Right.
and ever since then, me and my siblings on my dad's side has been thick as thieves.
Right.
And I honestly think death should bring family together, even after death.
Yeah.
Not just because of money or anything, but if you sit back and say, okay, I haven't connected with you in 10 years.
Right.
Let the death of that person connect you and keep you connected, because that person was the reason, you might have been around.
Right. Right.
And a lot of families don't understand that. They still want to hold the bitterness. Oh, look at her. She thinks she did. She thinks she that. Not knowing. Sometimes just a conversation.
We're in a whole lot of that.
We're in a whole lot of mess in a family.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
now-
that's real talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were talking about structure.
the structure,
And-
because we're gonna get into the mess.
But here's
little
here's
later.
a structure, and we talked about this when we were talking about male and female relationships, and I said, and I know some people are going to take this the wrong, and they're not going to accept it, but it's the truth. There's a natural order of families.
Absolutely.
There's a natural order of families. You have the mother, you have the father, and then there comes the children, and now. The structure it goes back in time, where in biblical times people think the man was not able to marry until he was about 25, 30. He had to be able to provide for his wife and his family. He had to have goods. He had to have a life. It ain't just you pick somebody and they were arrangements. It's not like we find somebody we claim we love, so we marry.
Right.
But they had to have, and this is, I know things change, but how the structure and how we are today. The man had to provide. The woman was anywhere between 14 and 19 when she married. She had to be able to provide children and do things like that. But
And I guess that would vary depending on culture.
Depending on culture, yes. So, but the man would be the hunter-gatherer out there, the provider. The woman would be the nurturer and everything like that. But the structure is out of its natural selection. Today.
Yes. So
Selection order, however you want to go.
I said order.
The order.
Yeah.
But in this is why we don't see, that's why we have a lot of the bitterness. That's why we have, because we are not in line as we should be in a family structure. Wow.
So when we think about family structure, and we go way back in time. So you mentioned the Bible. The structure of family looked different back then.
Right.
Now, interestingly, it could have been a husband and wife, but then there was a lot of wives and concubines, etc. But
but hold on, and I'm not even going to talk biblical time. And we as Western society, we don't subscribe to this. But even in some Middle Eastern countries, these practices are still the same.
Exactly.
So it's not too far off. It's just
That's
that
right.
and
that's why I mentioned culture.
Yes.
So just depending on the culture.
Yes, ma'am.
So the structure would look different. So if we deal with, just say, America in yesterday.
Right.
Remember running home? I don't know if you did this, or some evenings, certain shows came on TV. Some, I'll say Leave It to Beaver was one that I was coming home and would watch during the day. They had a certain family structure.
Right.
I'll say Bewitched had a certain family structure,
Right.
and his grandmother would be popping in
Right.
and out, but it was the mom, dad, the children. And so some of my other shows, Good Times and Fresh Prince,
Right.
Bel Air, etc., right? The Cosby. But think about the other people that really weren't family. So E mentioned family is not just blood, but think about the other people that was in the house. So if we think about the Brady Bunch and then the maid, I can't think of her name.
Alice.
Right? Alice, there you go. And then if we think of Fresh Prince, then it was a butler, Jeffrey. And if we think of the Jeffersons, it was a maid.
Florence.
And so some of these people, and we can talk about a lot of different movies, but there were these outsiders. Even Andy Griffith, when Aunt B was there. And so this is what we saw.
Right.
But then yet today when we look at the family structure, we didn't see that growing up. But now we have to change our whole perception about the way family is. So even the family sitting next to you in church could be the same sex raising a child.
Right.
We have to really change the way we look at things and the way we adapt in our world today.
Yeah, and that's why and you can disagree, but and I'm gonna let you go. But this is why I say, we're out of the natural order. I'm not. So it is what it is. But you got to look at how it is. It was structured. Anything that's
how it
not
is, why it is.
Right.
We don't have time to get into the why it is. Do we?
No.
Okay.
We do, but we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, anything that has set on a structure, if that structure is shifted, it's going to crumble.
Right.
And it's going to be a domino effect.
And see, I was with you on. That's where I was saying I disagree. I'm talking about I had to change my perception of it because the simple fact I still believe in man and woman, kids, husband and wife, kids, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I don't believe I can't fathom to have two men and thinking that's it is a family, but it's not. It's not an natural order of a family. Okay. So, as far as
now,
he said natural order, and so I want to get into, because I got so many things I want to cover. So, communication, no matter who's married to who,
right? In
a family, you got to have open conversation, communication. Why is that so important? And what happens when that communication is, I'll say, is compromised? Because she said, he said, they said, and you know how it goes, right?
Yeah.
So why is communication, and can you truly be honest in certain situations?
You should be.
All situations.
You should be.
You should, but
unfortunately, unfortunately, you can't be. But here's the thing: where you say communication in any relationship, and as we spoke about relationships, any relationship, if there's a lack of communication, there's a lack of growth, there's a lack of advancement, there's a lack of a whole lot of things. But there also is a lot of confusion, a lot of nonsense, a lot of because and as he said, a simple conversation can stifle a whole lot of confusion. It can change a whole lot of thoughts and perceptions, but we don't talk to communicate. I'm telling you. I'm ordering, and a lot of times, that is the problem. It should be, if it's, I'm going to say partners because there's a man and there's a wife, so I should be able to talk to the wife. We just need to communicate to be on the same page because we're raising the same children.
Okay.
Think about that. If she got a plan, I got a plan, and we're raising the same children, those children are going to pick which plan is best for them. Right,
but that's that particular scenario. So if you're thinking husband, wife, right?
Right.
But if we broaden it for a little bit for today's show, family.
Right.
Communication sometimes can be problematic in a family because you have certain people. So think about your family. I know you said everybody loving in your family, and that's beautiful, but let's think about the other families out here where you have some people that they get on the telephone and they get it going.
Right. Well, we all got that cousin. We all got that cousin.
And so I'm just speaking from communication.
We all got that cousin.
It's a simple conversation.
Okay.
People don't realize how a conversation can stifle anything that goes wrong. Because in fact, just because Lil Ray Ray called Lil Keisha and said, Lil Mike said this about you, instead of listening to what Lil Ray Ray said,
Go to Mike.
Go to Mike. I mean, it's just that simple. Yeah. Because the simple fact, why sit back and listen, and when you say, okay, if this my cousin, I should be able to just, hey, did you say X, Y, Z?
Right.
No, this what so and so said. Okay, and it will knock down that he said, that she said, that he said, that she said, and it will knock down a lot of stuff, because simple fact, now we see who's the corporate. Mm-hmm. You trying to start something now, bro? We can't be having this because we're a family.
But also, when you say it's problematic, and not only from the parentals, but your children should be able to have open communication with you.
Okay.
Because think of it today. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of things going on. Bullies and things like that, and there's things going on with children that we didn't experience, or we experienced, and we didn't take it. We were taught differently, but now they're taught that how to deal with it. But if you stifle a child, especially dreams, a child should be able to communicate their dreams. So what? You are a man, and you were just a garbage man. Your son gonna say he want to be an astronaut. Well, you cannot tell your son, oh, you can't be an astronaut. I wasn't an astronaut, so what make you think you're gonna be an astronaut? Right. No, listen to him. Let him communicate to you what he wants, and then you work with that. But we're quick to say, no, you can't do that.
That's right. And that's why I mentioned that as far as communication, because too many times adults, sorry, I don't want to throw y'all under the bus, parents.
Yeah, it happens.
Too many times adults don't want to hear from the kids, and they don't want to hear the kid talk about certain things, or the young adult. They don't want to hear it, period. Right. I don't care what you're dealing with while you're dating, or what you're feeling. And when you get around this certain person, you feel a certain way. And no, they don't want to hear it. They are getting ready to shut that down, especially if it's a father. They don't want to hear their daughter talk like that.
True.
Because now you have,
Amen.
So with our different families structures, you have single parents. So sometimes you have a single father raising a daughter.
Right.
And now you got to hear certain things, but that daughter doesn't feel comfortable.
Right, bringing it to you.
No, why is that?
Oh, I'll take this one.
Go ahead.
Because this was a simple situation, and I'm speaking from a father with a daughter. Lines of communication is always open. I make my kids let them know that's out the gate, because sometimes we get in our own heads as adults where you don't know nothing. You can't tell me nothing.
Right.
That's where it's partly wrong and partly true, because when you get to certain stages, certain areas in their life, and they need that advice, you got to be willing to give it to them. I don't care how tough it is, how hard it is. I mean, I had to learn it the hard way myself to understand, okay, let me listen to what you got to say, because you got something going on inside of you, but you don't know how to get it out, or you're afraid to get it out. No, don't be afraid to get it out. Talk to me, because if I can't help you, you doggone sure I'm finna help find somebody that can help you. But at the end of the day, that have that open line of communication with your kids, that's the best thing in the world.
So you're okay with your daughter, and not necessarily your daughter, but you think it's good for a daughter to say, Dad, there's a guy that I like, and I feel some type of way when I'm around him.
You have to look at it like this. At some point, it was some woman that I like to have you.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
So
now you have to come out of. It's a time to be a parent, and it's time to be an adult.
Yeah.
So for the fathers that's raising a young daughter and they don't know how to have this conversation, I'm saying that communication could cause some problems if it doesn't happen the right way at the right time.
Right.
All I can do is tell you, give you the advice. Now it's up to you to listen. It's just anything, like you said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Okay.
But and like E said, my daughter, we have always had a good line of communication. One is because we're both silly, so we just have fun, especially talking with our conversations. But one of the serious conversations was about that. She was talking about dating and everything, and I told her, I said, look, you date who you want, but understand, if you go get you a knucklehead, you chose that knucklehead.
Exactly.
You know what a man is and how a man is supposed to treat you. You go get that knucklehead. That's what you chose. But I also told us, like, if you ever get in a situation and you call me, if I come and you decide you want to stay there, don't call me again,
no more.
because that's obviously where you want to be.
Exactly.
So that is direct communication. That's an understanding. So it's simple. And too many times we try to find ways to talk to people instead of just talking to people.
Just say it.
I got to think of how to talk to them. How do I say this? And how to just say it.
Yeah.
And the truth is going to hurt, but the realism is going to get them.
Exactly.
Okay, so talking about this, and so kind of going in a direction I wanted to go in, I want to talk about the values. So family values and traditions. So how do you feel about that then and now? So even if you're using your own family, and I say then and now because some parents, by the time they make it to their number 6 child,
I ain't got that.
or the grandchildren,
Right.
they have totally changed
Right.
the way that they believe that you need to raise that child, their values and traditions. And sadly, yes, we need to talk about this a little bit. Family structure has changed in the sense that you do have some parents that will smoke and vape and
Right.
smoke
Well, yeah.
dope, drug,
Smoke,
marijuana, whatever you want to call it. Do edibles, whatever you call it, with their children
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So those things have changed.
To
So
me, and I'm gonna be quite honest. When you get to a certain level, my daughter turned 21 in about 4 months. I got one time to go to the club with her. That's on her 21st birthday. Anytime after that, no.
Yeah.
Because you still have to remain the parenting aspect of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's times, and I'm gonna be quite honest, it's times where growing up, some of my older uncles, hey, come on out here.
Yeah.
But I'm not around them on
come for those that don't understand what just happened. Come on, have a
little drink.
drinky drink with your uncle.
Yeah.
I might have been that uncle at one time.
Yeah,
Little libation.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still a respect level
Yeah.
of it. Now, if I sit and go to the club with my daughter every time she want to go to the club, or if I'm sitting blazing up one with her, man, at some point that child is gonna not respect you.
Yeah, that
now you my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you have to put them back in the reality. I'm not your friend. I'm your parent.
Yeah.
But
So you don't believe a parent can be a friend and a parent?
that's a very thin line.
Yeah.
Because that child at that point it could be real disrespectful.
Can I answer that?
Okay.
I think you should be friendly to your children, but you are not friends with your children. Friendly is like where you can take down the walls and you can have that conversation. You can have those candid conversations without, too much judgment, that's friendly. But to be a friend, and as he said, and you talked about family values and structures, I think they are watered down just like everything. And you say grandparents change. We're listening to other people now telling us how to raise our children, and we're subscribing to other people, thoughts of raising children, policies, politics, all of this, and that's how we raise our children, by what we're being taught or what we're being told, instead of, we raising our children. I know my child, I'm gonna raise my child, but a respect, and I never grew up to my father. My father died when I was 47 years old. I never grew up to my father. We were at the foot wash in Alabama. You know about the foot wash? You know about the foot wash?
I heard about it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, there's a front section to the foot wash, and then there's a back section to the foot wash. The front section is family. The back section, it ain't for your family. Grown folk, right? So we were walking one time, and we were walking there, and I'm grown. I mean, I got kids of my own, grown. So we walked past this table, and they had certain kind of movies, and they were playing them. My dad did this as we walked past. I looked at him, I was like, dude, what are you doing? He was like, you don't need to be watching that. I'm grown. But, the fact that, it was just like, literally, and he was serious.
What were you doing trying to watch that?
No, it was just open. It was just open.
And let's be clear, what type of movie?
They were pornographic movie.
So this is going on at the foot wash, and it's just showing.
Yeah, they were on the table.
Everybody and everybody can see.
And you walk around that corner, you walk around that corner.
You're going to see the wrong right
You're going to see the wrong right things. But legitimately, my father, and I'm grown, I was like almost 30. and he put his hand over my eyes until we got to the other side. So sometimes, the values are still there. People see you, but we don't enforce those values. We don't have those values. We don't continue. Like I said last night, we don't teach niceness because we're not nice. So we don't teach values because we don't have values anymore.
Okay, so you're saying that. So let's deal with your household individually. Mm-hmm. What values do you have? And you said these values have to stay. I'm teaching these values to my children, and I'm hoping that they teach these values to their children.
One of them is to love everybody, to help your fellow man. Look out for your fellow man. Not just your physical brother, your biological brother, or your biological sister. Help them. Always treat people with the respect that you are treated with. Right. And I say that because you can respect somebody more than they respect you. And it's not a bad thing, but you don't let anybody disrespect you either. Right. Carry yourself in a regards that people can look at you and they can't blame you or say anything about you. Always be, of high standard, of high integrity. These are things that, how I try to live.
Standing on it.
Stand on it.
Yes, you teaching it.
And you got to teach it because, when people start seeing you a different way, they treat you a different way or they act a different way regarding you. What he said about drinking, I don't drink around my children.
Okay. They know you drink, but you just don't.
I would drink around them,
see it. Yeah. You're not practicing this in front of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so your child is, I don't know, male, female, but they tell you that, I don't know, I feel something toward the same sex. I just want to tell you first because I'm feeling this. And you got your values. You have your traditional beliefs.
Right. And I'm going to tell you.
What's going to happen?
It's simple as this. It depends on their age. But first of all, if you're living in my house, if you're grown, if you're living on your own.
They live with you, but they grown. And I'm just saying that because this is a real situation. I'm 20.
Right.
And I still stay at home, right?
Right.
So I'm telling you this because I don't want you to hear it from auntie or people that know.
And I got you. And I still say.
Are you going to treat me different, Dad?
No. But I'm going to tell you like my mom told me. Once you feel grown, you got to have your own. Once you cannot listen to what is in my house or what rules or what standards or what things that are set in my house.
I've always been respectful to you. I've always obeyed everything. I'm just telling you that as I begin to date, I feel
and I'm respecting
a certain way.
I'm respecting that.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to change your ways. But what I'm saying is, in my environment,
there has to be a natural order.
In my environment. Now, if you're on your own, I can't dictate what you do on your own. I'm not going to change the way I feel about you, how I treat you. No, but it's a value. You got to stand on your values. You got to stand on what you believe.
You're saying absolutely, positively.
Not in my house.
The practice will not happen in my house.
Not in my house.
You can be whoever you and whatever you want to be
in your own house. My oldest daughter always told me she was going to get a tattoo. I said, you can get one when you move out on your own.
Okay.
She still ain't got one.
Those are family values, traditions, beliefs, and people stand on that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I'm just saying, you can get one when you live in your house.
Okay, so now we're not going to talk about the roles too much because we've talked about that, I believe, enough with the male and female roles, and we know what we believe when it comes to that. I do want to talk about quality time, family time, quality time. I would say it has definitely been compromised with social media. What do we need to get back to? And how do you handle social media at the family table, the gathering? What's going on?
You should have really got a tattoo with her. That's quality time.
Quality time.
That's quality time.
First of all, I'm afraid of needles, so that ain't going to happen.
So you saying go get a tat with your daughter?
I would.
Go hang out with her.
Actually, me and my daughter and my son is going to get the same tat.
Okay.
On our arms. Yeah. So it's certain things that wouldn't bother. That's nothing wrong with that.
And I'm not saying it is.
But as far as quality time, I'm going to put it like this. I pick my son up every Thursday from school. Mm-hmm. From the time I pick him up until almost the time I have to come here, that's our day. Mm-hmm. We don't let nothing distract, can't nothing move from our day, because that's our day. We sit down, we eat, we talk, we have a debriefing.
Right.
And quality time with family is not even just with your kids, just with your family, period, is very important. It's very valuable. You know, my grandmother died 2 years ago. She was 96.
Wow.
And my son was like, Dad, why you didn't cry? If you didn't get to know that woman in 96 years, that's your fault.
Right.
You didn't get that quality time with her within the 96 years.
You said you were at peace with the relationship.
At peace. And because
so
of the simple fact, I seen the suffering. I was up changing her. I seen all this.
Right.
So if you didn't get that quality time in, don't sit back and cry because I didn't. Oh, that's your fault. And that's the same thing with your family. If you don't get that quality time in with the people that you so-called love, and like I said, it don't have to be blood family. But that's your problem if something were to happen. That's on you because the simple fact, you had plenty of opportunity. You had plenty of chances. Right. And you had plenty of just, something, just to pick up a phone call and say, what up, nigga? Right. You know what I'm saying?
What's up? Okay.
Nickel. That's what he said.
Yeah,
he said nickel.
I know.
He said nickel.
Nickelbacker.
He said nickel.
I mean, it's just that. It's just. I mean, and the quality time don't have to be we together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, that's simple
conversation.
That's simple phone call.
I thought
that's
about
simple
you.
text.
Right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I got on my dad's side, I got 12 brothers and sisters, and to see our group chat. You be like, man, y'all talk all the time. Right. Sometimes you look at the group chat and like, man, I don't feel like talking to y'all today.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't feel like talking to y'all, but at least that's in fun and it's still in love. But what about estrangement? You have that happening in families, and people have just decided, I am not talking to them anymore. And I have there's a disconnect, and it's just, they are really distant. Their blood, their family, they used to have a good relationship. Something happened. What type of things can happen to cause that?
Yeah,
what comes to your mind right away?
I don't know because
money.
Well, I'm not going to say money.
Well, I'm getting ready to say the reading of a will.
Right.
Can cause some major problems in a family.
That's true.
Quickly. So disconnect. What things were you thinking?
Well, and I'm gonna be transparent because I live with that every day. I tell people my mama has a son and my dad has a son.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
And you're the same. The son is the same guy. Is that what you're saying?
No, they're two different. My father has a son. My dad has a son.
Your father has a son.
And my mother has a son.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. My father has a son and my mother has a son. Okay. My mother's son is older than I am, and my father's son is younger than I am. But the fact of the matter is that people say, I know you looking, ain't that your brother? I knew he was about to say that. Ain't that your brother? No.
Are you disconnected?
No, I'm not. It's just that I don't know what the disconnect is, and the one thing is, and I'll say this to I'm blue in the face, is that I'm not going to apologize for anything that I don't know that I've done. People say be the bigger person, but I can't read minds. So some things you don't
have to read the mind,
right? But here's what I'm saying: sometimes you just gotta. There's some situations you can't bring, you can't hear, you can't bring because it's not in your will. No matter what you do, it's not in your will. So
you said reconciliation or repair in any sense is just not going to happen.
So let me ask you.
I'm going to say
if it's up to you.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying it's beyond me because I've done.
So did you do your part?
I've done my part.
So my thing about on that aspect, if you've done your part, it's nothing else you can do.
That's what I'm saying.
So at the end of the day, sometimes, and like I said, I always say a simple conversation. It could be just a simple conversation, misunderstanding. But if another party don't want to have that conversation, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's what
it's just like I don't hate you. I'm not mad at you. I still love you. But at the end of the day, if I gotta love you with a long handle spoon,
wow,
I love you with that long.
Yes.
Not that I have any ill feelings to you or anything like that. It's just that we just don't mesh. We don't have that eye to eye.
Right. So, but I'm saying. I'm just asking, did something happen?
No. My mother's son and I grew up in the same house.
Your brother.
My mother's son and I grew up in the same house.
Oh, my goodness.
So I'm going to do this one to you. Just by you saying that right there, my mother's son.
Yeah.
and not
you try to create a disconnect.
Yeah,
it sounds like.
No, it's already a disconnect. It's already a disconnect.
I'm living in the disconnect. I didn't create it. I'm just living in it.
I mean,
and this is real talk, and we appreciate you sharing that.
I did not create it. I'm just living in it.
Listen, we appreciate you sharing that, Clarence, because first of all, you've never talked about a brother in a negative way or family, and you opened up saying when we started the conversation that your family is loving and close, and you like that.
But I said we do have those. She said,
and that's what I'm saying. So to share that is major, because there are tons of families out there. And there's families that's going through these types of disconnects, and people don't understand that. Let's just say, and I'm not saying this is you, but if you're walking around and you're in a family, you're in a situation like this, question yourself and make sure you're not in unforgiveness. So if you are in a situation where you have not forgiven someone, let's say outside of the family or in the family, you are the one that's going to suffer in the long run. So the things that's going to happen to your body and your mind as you go through, you're never going to know. Why am I so sick? Why is this happening? Why am I losing my hair? Etc. These things can be byproducts of that situation.
True.
So I'm just saying, and that's why I said it's not necessarily yours, but it could be somebody. But you have to clear the atmosphere. You have to clear that and make sure everything is good.
And again,
so that you can
clearing that up, Clarence, stop saying, my mom have a son, my dad have a son.
That's a start.
First and foremost, honestly, and you a faith man. You walk in faith.
I do.
Speak it into existence. That's my brother, and leave it like that. Speak it into existence.
You can own it.
You know, and we're gonna talk about faith. He also say if they don't hear your voice, brush the dust off your feet and keep
going. But still, hey, put in the atmosphere. That's my brother, and keep it. And
I like that. That's right.
And I respect that.
I mean,
speak it.
Speak it in the atmosphere. None of the conversation.
I like that. Down.
Yeah, he fights rest.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm saying, and Clarence, I like that. When you're like, okay, I'm silent, zipping it.
You're gonna get at me after the show.
No,
and I just say that because I want to say that. Yeah, I wish I could say that families don't have drama, but I'll say that all families have some type of disagreement, some type of drama, whatever it is. And, and I mentioned a couple things. There could be things as simple as this person decided to go to a different church, different denomination. And now families are mad. They don't care that you still serving the same God. They just don't like that you're not at their church, and now they don't want to talk to you anymore. And how does that happen with so-called Christian families of the same faith, technically? Right? But these types of things happen. That once the trust is gone, it's hard to get it back. But that communication is what we have to do, because at the end of the day, I mean, they're still family. So blood or not.
I got you.
I mean, in your case, I mean, it could be a in-law. And if we have accepted the fact that
we got to cut because he's about to go with that one.
So, I have this beautiful quote, and, it's time for us to go. We've been talking about marriages, husband, wives, male, females, and tonight families, including the children. Everybody has a voice. Everybody's voice matters in the family. We want to love our families. And I like this. This is a true quote. And I think of this when I think of my family. Families are like branches on a tree. Now think about it. We grow in different directions, yet our roots remain as one.
That's true.
So that's why I'm telling you, no matter what, you got that blood flowing.
I keep the blood.
I'm just saying, that's your brother.
I got the conversation.
I told you we're going to end that conversation.
We're going to end it. That's right. This is Neutral Voices. And we want to thank you for hanging out with us tonight as we talk about the family, loving our family, as we exit. E is going to leave us with what we always say.
Always protect your mind. I love you, Clarence. You're my brother, man. You're my big brother, man. I just got to do it to you, man.
I feel you.
Yes, thank you, guys.